Guys, welcome back to Practically Creative with Melissa. I'm starting a new series. I'm going to start a new quilt. It's going to be done with applique, and I'm going to use my brother's scan and cut to do this. And I'm going to use a pattern that I have drafted myself. Use this white, that's a white on white that I got from Marshall's Dry Goods. I got an incredible deal on this entire bolt of fabric. I think it was $1 a yard maybe. So I'm going to use that as my background fabric. And this black batik, I showed it a couple of weeks ago on a live, I want to use as my sashing with those colors. So I think that everything is going to go well together. And I may not end up using that bright blue in there, but everything else I think is going to work really well together. So we're going to get started on cutting this. I'm going to load my pattern into my scan and cut, and then I'm going to cut my pieces out. I'm going to use heat and bond to put these onto my blocks, and then I'll show you what we're going to do from there. So let's get started on loading it into the scan and cut. And once we have it into the scan and cut, then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so here we are at the scan and cut, and I have got I call it a loading mat. I don't know what else to call it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my pattern that I have drawn out in here. And then I'm going to load this into the scan and cut and let it scan in my pattern. Now what you do is you're going to load your mat. And once the mat loads, it's going to come back over here. I'm hoping you can read this. This says scan. So we're going to we're going to click on scan, and then we're going to click on scan to cut data. Press the start key to scan. Move the scanner lever down. You needed a 2 to cut, and then it needs to go back to the regular. I'm not going to remove my mat until it tells me that it has read it. It did a pretty good job, so we're going to unload the mat and get that out of my way. And then I want to do, that looks really good. It's got all of my pieces saved here. I'm going to click on OK. And then I'm going to save it to my computer wirelessly. All right, so now I have opened up my Canvas workspace on my computer, and you should be able to see it. And I'm going to import a scanned image. All right, so now I'm importing my scanned image from my Canvas workspace. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take all of my little objects off of here. I can go back over out of the way. I'm going to take all my objects off of my canvas and just set them aside. That actually is for a different pattern. Then I'm going to highlight the rest of my Canvas workspace. I'm going to press delete on my keyboard and clear it all out. Now these are the three pieces that I'm going to be using for my, these are the three pieces that I'm going to be using for my applique. And what I actually want to do is I want to cut, I need 16 of each item. And so what I want to do is I want to make it so that I can cut 16 of these items at one time. And so I'm once again going to set these off to the side. I need you to move. I don't need to look at myself. All right. And I want to go over here to layers. And the only shape that I want to be able to see right now is that circle. And I could actually have pulled a circle out of the shapes that are in Canvas Workspace, but I didn't want to do that. And I need to make sure that my circle is the size I need. Showing it to me. All right. I'm going to right click here and I'm going to click on Fill Page. And that is 16 of them. That's what I need. And then I'm going to send this back over to my scan and cut so that I can cut this particular item. So I'm going to, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so I've transferred that file over to my scan and cut now. And we're going to go home. I'm going to retrieve data. My heat and bond attached to the back of my fabric. You can see that shiny part right there. And then we are going to put our heat and bond laced fabric onto our cutting mat. And we're putting it heat and bond sides down, making sure that everything is down very, very well, and that I don't have excess strings on here. It'd be a great place to use a brayer. My mat is plenty sticky. All right, let's go back. I'm seeing my 12 circles. Okay, so we're going to retrieve data. We're going to retrieve it from the cloud. I want to press the button here that says scan. Now all I'm doing is moving my circles closer together so that I can get a little more room on my cut surface. All right, so I maneuvered these around so that I can get them all on here. And then we're going to hit save. We're going to select cut. And start. All my circles are cut perfectly. The scan and cut comes with this handy little spatula that lifts things up for you. So you can peel them off the mat without distorting them. So I have perfectly round circles and none of my edges are distorted. Let me get these off the mat and we'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, so now that we have our little circles cut, we have all 16 of them. Now that we have all of our little circles cut, we're going to go back into designs, into Canvas Workspace. And we're going to go back over here to layers, and I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight my screen. I'm going to take everything off of it. And now we're going to go back to layers right there. And I want to, that's not the shape I want to see. I want to put the boomerang shape on here. And I'm going to once again fill the page. Yeah. I want to move it. Two different colors on these boomerangs. I have to think about this for a second. So I'll probably do two different colors on these boomerangs. So I'll cut once in one color and once in another. So let's go up here and I want to export. Still can't send any items that are hidden. Okay, and it's ready to go over to the cutting machine. I'll do the next, I'll bring you back when I'm doing that cut, but let me get it all set up and then we'll start there. Okay, now the next one we're going to do is this green color. And we've got 8 of these on the screen. I'm going to scan to make sure that they will fit.